Now the problem with this kennel is I can't see from the top. So I'm going to count on our partner here.
To your right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no. I just need you to visually tell me when he SITs.
Oh, okay.
So right now he's challenging, so I'm just blocking him from being able to exit. Now once he stops challenging, I'm going to take a small step back. Now I understand the lighting isn't the best here, but you will understand this because you filmed it. Now I don't let them stick their nose out, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a nudge. So I just take a small step back. If he tries to come forward, I hiss and move forward. It's my way of saying no.
He's over to your right, yeah.
Small step. Now, ideally, I don't want them to stick their head out, but because this is too small of a kennel, we might have to deal with that a little bit. Take another small step back, and I pause. In between each step to wait and read the dog. If the dog stays stationary, I can stay. Yeah, oh, I saw that. So what I want to accomplish is I want the dog to start staying in the kennel on his own, not because the kennel's restraining him, but because he understands that's what the human is asking him. Now you can see here we have a bunch of puncture wounds from his teeth. He's been trying to bite and get himself out because he's trying to defeat the kennel. In this scenario, there's nothing to defeat. There's no bars. There's just air. It's just the guy moves forward every time I try to come out. So he's thinking about it, but he's being respectful, so I can take another step back. Now, the further away I get, the more enticing it gets, the more he's inclined to want to try to come out. So I need to be able to read him. So I'm not going to wait for him to take a step and put his foot outside the kennel. As soon as I see one of his feet going up is when I'm going to come forward. That's a good example of it right there. I don't know if it was too dark to see, but I waited. I got him as soon as his paw came up. Now, I couldn't see, and that's the nice thing about the wire kennels. You can see from the top. A lot of people think these are more durable than the wire kennels. The wire kennels can be destroyed. But a kennel should be like a safety line when you're climbing. You should never count on the safety line to hold you. You have it there in case of in case of emergencies. But you hope you never have to use it. The kennel shouldn't be what keeps your dog inside. It should be teaching your dog and training your dog to be comfortable in the kennel. So we create a positive association by throwing a treat in, letting him go in, get the treat, saying a command word the second it touches his lips, and then letting him leave whenever he wants. Now, only after I get the dog going in the kennel voluntarily with all four legs without any hesitation do I do this stage. This is a little bit earlier than I normally would do, but like I said, we're running a little bit low on time. Now, this is similar to the leadership exercise that I showed the guardians upstairs. When the dog SITs, I will take a giant step backwards immediately afterwards. That's my way of saying, hey, because you are challenging me less to get out, I moved myself further away. I do not let the dog out until it LAYs. I do not tell it to LAY. When it LAYs in this capacity, it's communicating I surrender. I understand I can't leave. And as soon as it understands and makes that signal to me, I grant it its freedom. Now, when we do that consistently, after enough repetitions, the dog understands, so if I want out of here, I have to lay down. Now, it starts laying down right away. The next stage, what we would do is when the dog lays down, after it lays down, I would wait about 10 seconds. Then I would give it the COME command. And holding up my hand flat with a treat in it like this and saying come, and as soon as he comes, I raise it, put him in sit, I give him the treat and say come. And then immediately after that, I would throw a treat in there, let him go get it, and then leave without blocking. And I would do that a couple times just to make sure that he understands it's only the exception that I go in here where I'm restrained or sequestered. The rest of the time, I just go in, get a treat, and I get to leave. 99% of the time, I go get a treat and I leave. It's only 1% of the time that I'm asked to stay in here. Now, this is why we want to take your dog to doggy daycare while we're doing this exercise, so he doesn't, otherwise it takes this exercise a lot longer. So the idea for this one is eventually we're going to work our way up. Now, studies show that if you can get your dog to something it doesn't want to do or has an issue with, if you can reach the 2-hour limit, they can go beyond 2 hours. Now, for a kennel, you should not kennel your dog for longer than 5 hours. It will create stress in the dog. And so if you do have a regular 8-hour working job, either need to arrange a dog walker or somebody come by, let your dog out, take it for a little bit of a walk, and then put it back in the kennel. So we burn a little excess energy. They get out of the kennel, and we don't have that 5-hour eclipse time. I'm going to take another step back. You shouldn't step up. For you guys, I would recommend initially not moving this far away. I do this for a living, so I've got really good timing. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm only paying attention to him. I'm not looking at the camera or over here or anything else because I need to have precise timing. I need to get him way before he comes out. If he escapes, then he learns I can just rush out of here. Now, I can't see if he is or not, but a lot of times the dog will breathe heavily because this is a stressful thing for him. But again, he's not whimpering or whining. I saw that coming.
Uh-huh.
So if you are doing this initially and you're not sure, it'd be better to rush to be to overkill than underkill for this exercise. So we do not want them to start thinking they can escape, because then you can't move away. Now, eventually you could probably put a chair here and sit down in the chair, but I wouldn't sit down in the chair until he's at least SITing. So once we get to the point where we throw the treat in, he goes in and gets it, and he starts LAYing within about 15, 20 seconds, then we're going to add time. So the next time I do it, 15 seconds. After he lays down, he has to wait 15 seconds of laying down, and then I call him to come out. Next time I do it, I might do 30 seconds, then 45, then 1 minute. Now, some dogs, if you go from 15 to 30, he starts whimpering at 20 seconds, well, then we need to back up and maybe do 10 seconds, and the next time 20 seconds, next time 30 seconds. We want to make the intervals so small that he almost doesn't recognize or notice that they're happening. Now, once we get up to the point, I usually would recommend, it depends on the case, but I usually recommend that we get up to at least 20 minutes doing this. So when you're doing this for 20 minutes, that's when it's helpful to have a chair. But again, do not sit down unless your dog is minimum of sitting, preferably laying down. Now, it would be nice if we could hang out in this room a little bit. So he moved his paw forward, but he didn't try to come out. Now, his head is a little bit further out than I normally would have liked, but he's respecting the spirit of the law, so we're allowing it. Let me see. The idea is, again, we're going to go up to about 20 minutes. So once I get to a minute, I would go by 1 minute intervals. 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, all the way up to 20 minutes. Now, if you get to 20 minutes and or for some dogs, you might have to go all the way up to 2 hours. And when you get to 2 hours, you don't have to go 1 minute at a time to 2 hours. You can go maybe 1 minute at a time to 20 minutes, then maybe try 2 minutes. So 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, then maybe 35. So you can start jumping it up as the dog's done it, but the idea is we want the dog to practice being in the kennel with the human here, but most importantly, being in the kennel calm. Most of the time you put your dog in here, it whimpers and whines and wants to bust out. And again, it's looking at it as a negative association. So I would not only have the kennel down here, but I would practice doing the kennel, if you can, put it upstairs somewhere, and practice having him while you're laying in the room, in the bedroom, or in your living room watching TV. So he goes in there, he lays down, and again, if you take the kennel door off, there's no jail feeling to it. He just, and you're doing this for 2 weeks when he's at daycare, so he doesn't worry about, being left in there because it's a nice soft place to go in.